What's good, y'all? Wanted to come back with another video. One of the biggest questions I always get is about road tripping in a Tesla. How long does it take to charge? Like, do you hate it on road trips? Blah, blah, blah. All right, so I'm gonna give y'all like my true, honest opinion. I've had my car for about 15 months. I got it January 2021. I've loved it. But again, even before I got my car, my biggest anxiety or my biggest thought was like, where am I going to charge it at? What am I going to do on road trips? If you know me, I'm somebody who is always driving, which is a big reason why I bought my car. I'm in the military. My family lives in North Carolina. My friends are all in North Carolina. I've lived in Georgia. I now live in Alabama. But I always make time to come back to North Carolina for big events, to see friends, birthdays, see family over holidays and stuff like that. So I road trip a lot. In my first year having my car, I drove about 25,000 miles, which I think the national average is probably like 12. So about double the mileage that most people get in a year. So I'm going to show you guys a little bit about road tripping in a Tesla, what the car will do for you, and how that process kind of works. Hopefully this answers some questions, alleviates some people's concerns, and then just helps you make an educated decision on, whether it's something that you'd be interested in doing. So for some background information, I have a 2017 Model S. I have the 100D, which is the long range version. My car on a full charge probably gets a little over 300 miles of range. Again, it kind of varies. I think we don't really realize it when we're driving gas cars, but depending on what type of roads you're driving on, how fast you're going, it affects the range of the car. Same thing with the gas car, but it's just more noticeable in a EV because you're already thinking about it a little bit more. So got the long range version. I know some of the Model 3s and the Model Ys get even closer to maybe about 330, 340 miles. And in the new Model S long range, I think it gets a little closer to 450 miles. So there's vehicles out there with more range than mine, but I'm pretty happy with it so far. It hasn't been too big of a deal when I'm road tripping, but just some background information on my car specifically. All right, so when you get in the car, looking at the navigation system, I put in the address here for Martin Army Community Hospital at Fort Benning, Georgia. So currently I'm up here in North Carolina. I put in the address. Immediately, as soon as you do that, as you can see here on the left, it'll tell you which superchargers you need to stop at, how long you need to be there, and what % charge you'll have when you get there based off of, your driving habits, and some of the other characteristics and just things that happen along the road. So typically I found it to be pretty accurate. And so as you can see, it tells me one stop in Florence, South Carolina, then Augusta, then Madison, and then I'll be home. So that's 3 stops. As you can see, it factors in for the total trip. It factors in, the total time that you're going to spend charging. So for this trip, it adds a little over an hour. Just for some background, my car right now, I think is on 130 miles. I don't know if you can see that. About 130 miles. So normally if I was going on a road trip, I would have much more charge than this. But just for some background information, that's kind of what it looks like and what it tells you. Something else that's pretty cool in the vehicle, down here, if you press this lightning bolt looking icon, it'll pull up all of these superchargers nationwide, right? So I can, scroll through and look, ones that are closest to me are going to pop up first. And up here, you can see the multiple lightning bolts is for superchargers. And it tells you at each of these locations. So it'll tell you where it's at, the charging speed. So different ones have different charging speeds. It'll tell you how far away it is from you. The little icons here are how many stalls are open at that location. So there's 9 superchargers currently available, and that updates in real time through the software. And then, it'll also tell you when you click on one, how to get there, quick and easy. It'll also preset the battery for you. It'll tell you again how much supercharge you'll have when you get there. And it's a pretty easy and seamless process. So some common misconceptions that I think some people might have is, one, you're going to be doing like this whole MapQuest kind of like, plotting out where you need to stop for a supercharger. Again, the car does all that stuff for you. It's an expensive car, depending on which one you get. So hopefully it would be able to do that for you. And Tesla's been doing this for quite a long time. So they're able to integrate this software, and it's really seamless, honestly. And the navigation is pretty accurate with what you'll show up with. Sometimes they even underestimate it. So there's been, quite a few times where I had a lot more charge getting somewhere than what the computer had estimated, but I'd rather be, you know, them underestimate or overestimate how much battery I'll use than underestimate. Now I'm out here stranded on the side of the road waiting for somebody to come pick me up. So that's one common misconception I think people have. And just in general, again, you know, talking to some of my friends, they're like, man, ain't no way I want to sit there, you know, for an hour or whatever, waiting for my car to charge. Typically, you're going to charge for about 25 minutes. If you're going from, you know, 5 to 10% battery and you're trying to get up to, you know, about 70%, that's more realistic on a road trip. Once you get to about 70% charging the car, the charging speed drastically drops to just prevent battery degradation. So, you know, the speed that you get from 10% to 70% is the same amount of time that it'll take for you to get from like 80% to 100%. And that's just, again, to protect the battery. It's something that Tesla does with their cars. It makes sense. A little annoying, but time wise on a road trip, it just makes way more sense to, you know, go ahead and get up to that 70-75% and then move along, get to the next one in a couple hours. Again, people don't like to stop. Personally, I was one of those people. I hated stopping on road trips. Again, that 7 hours from Georgia to North Carolina, boy, I used to rip and run I-95 like it was my job. And I would drive that thing straight through, maybe stop for like 5 minutes to go to the bathroom, grab a snack from the gas station. But I think I've gotten used to it, to be honest. At this point, you know, I know when I'm going to have to stop. My body's kind of used to it. And again, you can do different stuff in the car. It's not like you're standing outside just holding a little supercharger like you would with a gas car. You know, you can sit in your car, you know, Model 3s and Ys and some of the newer cars, they got Netflix and games in there. So it's not really just a super tedious process. And then again, the benefit of electricity is that it's a lot cheaper. So as gas prices were soaring over the last couple months, energy stayed the same. So on a road trip that might have cost me, you know, about $120 to complete with, you know, with gas, I was maybe at about $55 to $65 in electricity. So, you know, I personally will sit around for a little while if it means that, you know, pretty much every minute I sit there, I'm saving $1. I'm kind of frugal in a sense, so that's just me personally. It's not for everybody, but I do think as EVs become more popular, as the battery chemistry gets better, and as they continue to figure out ways to improve the charging, you know, within the next couple of years, it's going to be very, very quick. They've already done a lot of improvements just since I've gotten the car, and I really think that over time, it's going to get a lot better as well. So just kind of wanted to show you guys a little bit about what that experience is like in the car, what it's been like for me. I've really enjoyed it, and, you know, you get used to it. And honestly, saves a little bit of money. Last thing I'll say, so I think at the end of my first year driving, like I said, I did about 25,000 miles, you know, ripping all around the Southeast, basically. I added it up, and for the equivalent of a gas car, driving that with a car that maybe gets around high 20s miles per gallon and an average gas price of a little over $3. So honestly, the gas price is probably on average for premium would have been closer to like $350, maybe $360. I did the math calculations and I saved over $2,500 with gas and oil changes and stuff like that. The only maintenance I've done on this car is get new tires. So that alone kind of makes it more worth it to me. And as you continue to drive more and more miles, that number just continues to rise. So again, just wanted to share that last little tidbit, but hope this has been informational. If you guys got any other questions or want to see anything else in the car, be sure to let me know. Thanks for another episode of Tesla Table Talk. Peace.